Hey Joe everybody, welcome back to another guide brought by your favorite tag team. This time we will be looking at Asha. So if you're wondering what combos will work with her, or interested in the strengths and weaknesses, then get comfortable and enjoy our guide for this new unit. As an overview, she is a free-man melee unit with an evenly spread stat distribution, a super high attack rating, respectable health, and game-breaking utility. An extremely high attack melee unit with great lane control and minimal counters.
Okay, abilities. First one. Enemy appears, reduces attack of enemies in line to 1 for 1 turn. So, this ability functions in a similar way to that of Salma, against any unit without immunity. The difference here is that it only applies in the same row as she is whenever a unit is placed in any cell of the enemy side. Salma's ability is kinda like one and done per unit, but Asha can keep setting the entire lane to one attack. Meanwhile, the opponent keeps summoning units.
Second ability, before enemy attacks, steals attack from them. Okay, so this is where Asha gets interesting. This ability causes Asha to steal attack from any enemy unit of any lane and add it on her own, including her own lane. This is actually huge, and why these first two abilities go so well together. In the case of Selma, you at least have the option to place a suppressed unit to stop that effect on the following turn. But with Asha, nothing that doesn't have immunity will get to attack on her lane. It's worth nothing that even if you play at max level, throwing a level 1 Asha in your squad will achieve the same effect as the attack still will set enemies to 0 in the same lane no matter what Asha's level. So not only this pretty much lock down Asha's lane until the other side has some very specific counters, it also isn't a lane that can be just ignored because she has so much attack. Scary. Third ability is a passive counterattack. You might wonder how useful this ability even is, considering Asha basically prevents anything from attacking her in her own lane and has enough attack power to one-shot most things the following turn. You'd be right, this is a strange move, but this is also a kind of fail-safe to some of the very few counters Asha will have had, immunity units. Currently, most of the immune units have very low attack, besides Morana, and will generally lose when trading hits with Asha. The counterattack locks that in, so this is mostly only going to be a relevant ability when the enemy tries to counter her with Regina, Rain, Yumiko, and obviously Morana. This can also work if you place Asha in response to a tanky unit such as Sharon, Sarah, or basically any melee unit that can survive at least one hit. Ultimate ability. Enemy poison triggered grants resistance of 5% to all melee allies, including yourself for 1 turn. So, this is actually the only underwhelming part of Asha. Resistance is generally quite a weak mechanic that isn't too impactful to the game right now, as damage is either overkill to the unit or more reliable defenses such as agility evasion for shield assist. Perhaps we will see more from the resistance mechanic as time goes on. This could pair with Lucretia for more poison activations, but again, I can see this being too impactful to most games. Okay, combos. So, there aren't really any combos that specifically work with Asha's attack reducing, stealing, and counterattack abilities. As I mentioned above, the poison units could synergize with her ultimate, but that's a very weak ultimate and not really the reason we use Asha. I would say that any mechanic heavy unit that needs to be protected is the best combo with Asha. I'm talking about Bea, Lola, Kitty, Belle, etc., who get more dangerous the longer they are in place, so need to be protected. Staying right behind Asha is really the safest place to be, as they are safe from any pierce stun mechanics due to the attack reduction stopping them from attacking that lane. Also, using units that can protect Asha will be really paid off, such as Kitty's shield, especially with the ultimate so you can blind the opponent. Also, Belle's HP increase or face multi-attack. Counters. Morana with her ultimate is the very best draw you could wish for when you see an enemy Asha. She stuns nearby enemies on her spawn, meaning this is the only way to stun Asha with a unit. She then attacks for big damage and doesn't lose any attack since she has immunity, and Asha is toast the following turn. Another very good counter to Asha will be Yumiko, not only because she is an immune unit, but because of her rework first ability, since it will cleanse the debuff made by Asha and restore the full power of your units before they attack no matter what. Hilda. Not exactly a counter here, but definitely a way to help stop the lane control from spiraling. Hilda's refreshing force shield can stop Asha each time she attacks, until you can get rid of her by another way or skip a turn if you manage her to survive. Ariane. I always feel sorry for Ariane being the suicide play, but for a game-breaking unit like Asha, Ariane is a worthwhile sacrifice to instantly shut down the lane containing Asha, unless she is suppressed by Roxy before Asha attacks. This will clear out the whole lane at once. Agility units, so Billy, Lucretia, and Bea all have agility, meaning they will dodge Asha's next attack and stopping her next hit. This isn't a perfect counter as the enemy can just reinforce behind Asha, and if you try to do the same behind your agility unit, then you shut down your whole lane down. Be careful not to rely on agility units too much for Asha. Bloom at equal level will be able to one-shot Asha with her ability with damage and adjacent target. This means you place her in a different lane and make sure she hits something that next to Asha. Not enough? This target is random if there are multiple targets in range. Additionally, This is only the case if the Asha doesn't have the relationship level up. Out-heal her, with Regina or Belle for example. Again, not exactly a counter, but personally, if I encounter Asha and don't have Morana at the ready, it's sometimes viable to just put a healer in another lane if you know that it will buy you enough time to make the draw you need. Final thoughts. If I had to give Asha a place in the current ranking, I'd say that she's the second most powerful unit in the game behind Morana. In some situations, she can be even more of a nightmare. The highest base attack in the game by a lot, not counting the self but from Salmas when she spawns, a respectable amount of health, unmatched lane control again by a lot. Asha's mechanic favor the style of unit who gets deadlier and harder to deal with the longer the game goes on. While she doesn't exactly have any abilities that make her a direct counter to certain units, she has high enough attack that it's a counter in itself, since you can take out just about any ranged unit and most melee units with an equal level Asha. Then the chaos begins. Something else to bear in mind with Asha is that unlike other units such as Morana, Hilda, Regina, etc., who all need to be a high level to be effective, you can literally slap a level 1 Asha in your squad and she will lock down that lane as well as a max out one. Sure, she will be somewhat weak to splash, poison damage, but Asha is absolutely not a unit to be slept on, just because you have her at low level. My advice when using Asha, get her down and place a nightmare unit behind her such as Kitty and watch the enemy struggle to stop that lane. My advice when facing Asha is to save your commander ability for when she is placed, and or save Morana Hilda agility unit. Asha gets a bit less effective if the lane she attacking is already stacked, cause on the following turn the enemy can just skip the turn and avoid the second skill of Asha that will reduce their attack. But she's still one of the hardest units to date to deal with, so just play it. As for her stats on the relationship, these are the stats given at GM for example. And also you can get an amazing skin after reaching level 20, so it's very worth. With all that said, let's have some matches! And that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Bye!